woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 291st edition of TSR Primetime, your nightly dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. It is Sunday, July 8th, 2018. God damn, it's already July 8th. The year is already halfway over. Jesus Christ, time flies. Anyway, enough of my babbling. We are streaming live simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, DonovanSharpe.com, the mothership. 7 different channels across 4 different platforms, so welcome in everyone. It is good to have you in tonight. However you are watching, we're not streaming on Instagram because, as you guys can see over my shoulder, I do have a guest. I'll be introducing him shortly. So if you are looking for me on Instagram, come to DonovanSharpe.com. You'll be able to watch the show there. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. If you want to tell me what's on your mind, you can hit us with questions, comments, show ideas, personal stories you'd like to share, or anything else you want to get off your chest. If you do not want to call, you can always chat. It's right next to the video player on DonovanSharpe.com. If your video is running a little bit slow on your end, it is likely because of the chat software that you are using. Just click the video-only link just beneath the player, and that should do the trick. Follow, add, and like me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just do a quick search for Donovan Sharpe on all 3 platforms. For all things Donovan Sharpe, go to DonovanSharpe.com. There you will find all of my content, which includes all episodes, appearances, and my archive of over 200 articles. I have written for Return of Kings and NegroManosphere.com. I have written for those 2 sites for a combined 6+ years. If you want to contribute to the show, go to www.streamlabs.com/Donovan's Den. You can use any credit or debit card. You can also use PayPal or Bitcoin. So if you like the show, you get something out of it, drop a little something in the tip jar at www.streamlabs.com/Donovan's Den. Okay, let's get to it. My guest tonight is the host of Conservative Nation with Jermain Botsio and is one of the most politically influential black men around. He is a proud veteran of the United States Army, and though his campaign is temporarily suspended due to an illness in his family, he is running for state representative in Minnesota. So, gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Jermain Botsio to the show. Jermain, how you doing, man?
Doing fantastic.
Listen, it is good to have you on the show. It's just like you and I were talking on air. It is hard to find brothers who are like-minded in any capacity, let alone politically, because if you're, listen, you know as well as I do, if you are a conservative black man, you catch a lot of heat, mainly from the black community.
Oh, yeah. Dominic, it's absolutely a treat to find brothers just like yourself that are around. Brothers who got common sense, let me tell you. And growing up, just like you said, our people, they bash us. They'll call us names through the roof. I mean, ostracize us just because we have a different opinion. So I love that there are more brothers waking up and seeing the truth.
Absolutely. Now, I'm picking up a little bit of a southern accent. You live in Minnesota. Now, where are you originally from?
Well, I lived in Minnesota for probably the last 5 years here, but I stayed in Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood. I was in the Army for some time, for about 4 years. I got out as an E5. That's a sergeant. I was an electrical engineer, which is a 12 Romeo, if anybody knows about any Army stuff out there. And, you know, I just picked it out there, just hanging out with the folks and doing the thing.
Good stuff, man. Now, you got my attention, like I said, because you are, obviously, you're a black conservative. There's not many of us out there. How did you become a black conservative? Because here's the thing. I was liberal. I went to college at a high school. So naturally I was going to be a liberal. I'm a black man. I'm in college. I have to be liberal. The very first time I voted was in 1996. I voted for Bill Clinton. To me, it was the right thing to do. But a funny thing happened on the way from being broke to actually making a little bit of money. In 2004, and this is probably, honestly, this is probably the lamest excuse for anyone going from liberal to conservative, but I was watching the O'Reilly Factor. And I'll never forget, it was Bill O'Reilly. I was like, well, who is this guy? You know, he seems to be telling everybody off. And a guy asks him, he's like, can you let me finish? And Bill tells him, no, you can't finish because you're full of blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in on this guy. I watched him, and the rest is history. And then, of course, you know, other things happen over the course of your life that sort of push you from the left to the right. What was your journey like? Or were you ever even a Democrat to begin with? Were you always a Republican, or did you start off as a liberal? How did that happen for you?
Well, one thing I could tell you is my father had a big influence in my political views. He was a staunch conservative. My parents came from Ghana, West Africa, Dominic.
Okay.
Yes, they came here in the 70s. They migrated here. They started a business called Minnesota Footwear. They got naturalized as citizens, ended up selling the business, getting themselves into bricks and mortar, you know, real estate, buying up property, fixing them up, renting them out. And that's our family business here. And he taught me the values of work starting off, you know, real early, you know, and I got that work ethic. And he also told me about just, you know, about the world and how Black Americans view what conservative means, and they always believe that it's about you know, the rich versus the poor, and it has nothing to actually do with that. It has to do with the philosophy and the mentality, and that's something that he instilled in me, and I took off from there.
Okay, so you were never a Democrat. You were never a liberal. You grew up in a Republican household.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How about that?
Yeah, and that's one thing that probably I got heat for, because my family was a little bit different in the Black community. Oh, yeah. You got to understand, Dominic, back in the 80s, I'm a Black African, young, first generation. Okay, I go to school. They call them in names, Dominic.
Oh, yeah, you know they are.
African booty scratcher, midnight, right? I used to walk in the classroom. They shut off all the lights. Say, Jermain, where are you at? Oh, I mean, they used to go absolutely nuts, Dominic.
Wow.
And these are the folks that say they love blacks.
How did you handle that? How did you handle being made fun of in school, or being teased in school?
Man, Dominic, it was terrible. Let me tell you. You know, I always used to run home and tell my father, and he said, you know what? They just mad at you because you live in a nice house. This is what my father used to say. They just mad at you because you're gonna do something with your life. So my father would always be that counteractive to the degeneracy that was around me. He would always bring me back to the light, as I should say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask you this. And our parents tell us this stuff all the time. And I handled it a little bit differently. I got made fun of in school. Well, I didn't get made fun of in school until I became a civilian. My dad was in the service for almost 30 years. And so we grew up so we were on military bases until my folks split up when I was 15, 16 years old. And for the first time, 15, 16 years old, in the state of North Carolina, and the high school that I went to, you can see, it is racially divided. This is back in the early to mid 90s. And I got made fun of in school because of the way I talk. Now, I didn't run home and tell my mom, oh, they made fun of me. No, I got in a lot of fights. I kicked a lot of fucking ass. Listen, you want to make fun of the way I talk, I'm going to fuck your fucking face up. And I won a lot more than I lost. But why do you think it is that particularly African Americans, why do they take jabs at guys like us? Why do they feel the need to demean or degrade us? Because listen, I know you catch it now. I'm 40 years old. I still catch heat. Why is it that we have so many haters?
You know, I really believe that it has to do with the mob mentality. All right. Because especially in the Black community, you understand this degeneracy runs very high. And they believe that is, quote unquote, being cool.
Right.
Okay. So if we deviate from that, somehow we're not part of the group. We're some aliens. Somehow we're going to be stealing other folks away. You get what I'm saying? It's infecting their reality.
Wow. And who gives them this reality? Where does this mentality come from?
Well, Dominic, I catch a lot of heat from the Black community for saying this, but I'll tell you, it comes from a lot of folks nowadays are are coming from their mama. Let's just say that that. I gotta put it out
straight
there.
Up. No, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's that female mentality. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, and you know, it's the generational poverty and the generational mindset that has been taken over. And I believe it's been introduced by the Liberal Democratic Party. You know, and it is a terrible thing. And one thing I could tell you is that the policies that they bring, they take the man out of the household, and it's just left with the woman. Now, the woman, most of the time, she's going to be irresponsible.
Yes.
You know, I catch heat for that too as well.
Well, guess what?
The numbers bear it all.
Yeah.
All you got to do is look at it statistically, and you'll be quiet. You get what I'm saying?
Listen, women are impulsive. They're financially irresponsible. They're sexually irresponsible. Thanks to the advent of birth control, they can go out and fuck whoever they want. That's why they got, 6 different kids by 18 different niggas. Like, absolutely. That's how this is how it goes. But then when people like you and me come on and state the obvious, no, you're a coon, you're a sellout. No, fuck y'all. I'm Donovan fucking Sharpe, and I tell it like it is. That's the way it goes. But why does the liberal democratic policy, why is being a liberal, why is being on that plantation, why is that bad for African Americans?
Well, one thing I could tell you is bad for African Americans because when you're on that liberal plantation, it inhibits your ambition. Now, a lot of the stuff they tell you is equality and blah, blah, blah. All of it is a lie, and it's to lower your ambition. It's to stop you from trying and succeeding in your life. Now, if you look at the Democratic Party, Democratic Party, they'll tell you that there's nothing wrong with welfare. It's okay. They have what we call racism of low expectation. They don't expect blacks to succeed. So they go along with what I call the false compassion, which, hey, black, it's okay. We understand that you guys fight and kill each other. All right. Wow. Don't worry about it, black. I understand it. That's your culture. All right.
Wow.
And they just go along with it. And black folks, they're stuck in what we call almost emotionally based mind control.
Yes.
And to me, this comes from being raised by your mama, because your mama thinks emotionally. And a lot of these children, they're going to see the lens of the world through their mama's eyes. Donovan, you can't get away. Donovan, you can't get away from it.
God, man. No, you're right. Listen, man. Just like you said, the statistics bear it out. But here's the thing: I don't have to have one statistic in front of me to know this is true. Walk out your door, live your life, go to work, interact with people. You can see that people, men and women alike, who are raised by single mothers, particularly black people, have that female mindset, and these are the people that are victimized by the democratic system. These are the people that say, the welfare system levels the playing field. It does not level the playing field. Just like you said, it literally saps their motivation. Europe, the continent of Europe is stagnant. There's no other than Ferraris. There's no creativity going on over there. Why? Because it's a socialist welfare system. Everything is paid for by the state. So people say to themselves, well, then what incentive do I have to get ahead? Why do I need to work harder than the next guy if I'm going to end up with just as much as him? It's the same here in America with this welfare system. You got these welfare babies. You've got SNAP. You've got Medicaid, et cetera, et cetera. You got baby mamas at home who just want to fuck niggas all day. She's not going to be motivated to get up and do anything better. And if she happens to see a commercial on TV while she's at home watching Maury Povich, and let's keep it real, the only commercials on those kinds of TV shows are if you've been hurt in an accident, if you want to become a nail tech, if you want to go to nursing school, right? The baby. Let me pick up and go to Mount Olive University or DeVry University so I can get some bullshit IT degree. But they don't want to do it for that. They want to do it so that they can ball with the rest of them, right? They only want to do it to get possessions. They're not thinking about 401ks. They're not thinking about generational wealth. They just want shit. So why do you think the welfare system is bad, particularly for African Americans?
Well, it's bad, particularly for African Americans, because African Americans, and I would like to say I'm probably a good African American. I'm the first ones that should be called African American because my family came here. That's right. Straight. Okay. Black Americans should be called just Americans, and this is what I'm saying. Okay. Black folks, they don't know any where except for America. Okay, and black folks in this country, a lot of them don't like Africans. So why would you just steal the word? It blows my mind. You're American. Wherever you're born is your citizenship. Stop it.
Unbelievable.
Right? And Donovan, what I want to say is that the welfare system is really bad because the black community here in America, we don't have families, especially in the inner city. There's no family structure there. So when you have women making these irresponsible decisions, baby after baby, I do my baby after baby dance. Baby after baby after baby after baby, Donovan. You can't get around it. And what they'll do is I'll call them also state-sponsored terrorists. And I got that from this guy named Tommy Sotomayor. I heard one of his clips when he said that, and it made so much sense because a lot of these baby mamas, quote unquote, the irresponsible women, they're picking bad men to begin with, Dominic. Drug lords, Tyrone down the streets, Pookie smoking blunts on the corner. And they love those folks. They'll have babies with them, and then I call the white man on the EBT horse, right? He'll trot in like this, and he'll be dispersing cash to the women.
The EBT
destroying lives.
Oh shit! There's I don't know if you're familiar with red pill vernacular. We call it alpha fucks, beta bucks. And basically what this means is good genes versus good dad. So there's a difference between a father and a dad. Any man can become a father. Just shoot your load in a woman. Any woman can become a mother. Just take a man's unprotected load. But after the baby is born, that's where the real work begins. Here's the problem. The government is the new beta bucks, right? And this ties into exactly what you just said. Women are irresponsible because they can be. See, back in the day, Jermain, women they had to protect their wombs because if they got knocked up by some nigga down the block, no one was rescuing them. There was no bailout. Mom and dad probably shipped them off to grandma's house, or they took the baby, put it up for adoption, and got her the hell out of there before she got the scarlet letter put on her head. But now, because the government bails these bitches out, well, they subconsciously think in their mind, well, shit, if I have 6 different kids by 5 different niggas, I'm still gonna be all right. So what they're doing is they are foregoing the educated brothers, the brothers who are gonna make something of themselves, and they go after the alpha dudes, the Tyrone, the Pookie, the Ray, the Dontavius, the niggas down the block selling dope. And again, everybody always asks, well, why do they go for these thugs? Because the government bails them out. The government is the husband. The government is the baby daddy. The baby's fathers. Those are the men that these women want to fuck. Women are irresponsible because of the government, and black women have suffered the most.
You're absolutely right. They suffered the most. They're a bad coach, Donovan.
Woo.
Okay, I always say this, right? I always make this analogy. If you had a football team, basketball team, badminton team, if you will, and you're losing every gosh darn game you're losing, Donovan. Every gosh darn game, right? Who are you gonna blame? Are you gonna keep blaming the players? Or are you gonna try to switch up your strategy?
I'm telling you, man. Listen. They're always moving. They're always moving the goalpost. I'm gonna give you a name, right? Let's go ahead and say it. Donald Trump. Okay. Donald Trump is probably he is the most divisive president. He's the most polarizing, not divisive. He's certainly the most polarizing president of our time. My prediction is this. I don't know if he's going to win or not, but I do know this. In 2020, we are going to see the largest voter turnout in U.S. history. More people are going to vote in this presidential election, I can guarantee, than the last 5 elections combined. What do you think of Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump catches a lot of heat from black people for no other reason but that he's a white guy and he runs off at the mouth. What are your thoughts on Donald Trump? Is he a good president, bad president? Is the jury still out? What do you think?
Well, I like Donald Trump, and I like him for a whole host of reasons. Okay. First of all, Donald Trump is an alpha male.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he will say stuff, and he doesn't care about your feelings. That's how men should be. You know, that's the only way you can have an honest relationship with folks, if you're able to portray what's in your mind without that inhibition of somebody's feelings there. Right. And another thing too is that he sticks to his word. He does the correct things. You know, putting a border in our country here. I know a lot of folks are against it and mostly are dumb. Okay, but you have to secure our nation. You have to secure our sovereignty, and the only way to do that is to have a border. I mean, or else what kind of country are we?
Right, exactly. See, here's the thing, man, and I tell people this all the time. If I were Mexican, I'd be trying to get over here too, dude. Listen, I would be one of those essays with the backpacks on, like when they're like reporting at the border. Yeah, this is Diana, blah blah blah. Dude, I'd be that motherfucker running right across the camera. I would try to sneak in America every chance I got. So I'm not saying I'm never gonna ask Mexicans, well, why do you guys want to come over here? Well, of course you guys want to come over here, man. You ever been to Juarez, right? You ever been to northern Mexico? Of course they want to get the fuck over here. By the same token, you can't have open borders, man. And a lot of people who are nationalists like you and me, we catch a lot of heat because then they want to call us, well, this country was founded on immigration. No. These people did it legally. They came over here legally. Listen, me personally, I have no problem with people immigrating to the country. But if we have open borders at some point, it's going to have to be martial law. If we really break it down to brass tacks, you just can't open the borders.
You just can't. And on top of that, how about all the people who are waiting in line to do it legal? My parents waited 10 years, Donovan, 10 years. Okay. And Jorge with a brush can just skip off, across that line, and he's over here. It's not fair and it's not right. We have to vet these folks coming in. And I understand that where they live is crappy, but you got to understand this. They should stay in their own country and make their own country great again, Donovan.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? All the best and brightest can't come here. Stay in your country, fight. Don't leave your country, man. That's all I'm saying.
Like I said, if I were Mexican, I would want to leave too, but I'm an American and I'm staying right here. A lot of people, the common narrative on Donald Trump is that he is a racist. What are your thoughts on? It's to me it's hilarious because, again, it's to paint him in this corner, and I think this is another part of the liberal agenda to play to the emotions of African Americans to, again, call Donald Trump a racist. Why is he called a racist, and why don't you think he is?
Well, he's called a racist because he's quote unquote on the right. He ran as a Republican. And he's doing things.
Hold on. Listen, John McCain was a racist. Mitt Romney was a racist. George W. Bush was a racist. Ronald Reagan was a racist. Walter Mondale. I mean, they're all racist, right?
Yeah. And it's classic cultural Marxism.
Yes.
If you want to get really technical with it, they're trying to divide folks. And the thing is, if you're for nationalism, if you're for religion, Christianity, you're for, a strong defense and things of that nature, because liberals are cultural Marxists by design. They hate it. They absolutely hate it. And a lot of Black Americans, they have anger in their heart, Donovan. We have to be honest. They've been taught this, what I call a racism lie, because before the word racism came, what was it called, Donovan? Can I ask you that?
I think it was segregation, maybe.
Nobody knows. They called it evil. It was bad. It was wrong. And everybody has anger in their heart, Donovan. And it's just that a lot of these folks back in the day, they took advantage. So I tell folks just to get rid of if you stay on colorism, you'll always lose. You have to step away from it and got to understand how you're being controlled and what's beneficial for you and your family. And what the left is pushing, Donovan, is not beneficial for Black Americans, especially the immigration. Not at all. The racism that they're using towards Donald Trump, it's all a ploy so that Black Americans can be stuck in this emotion of anger. And when they're emotionally angry, they can't see straight. If they take away racism, Donovan, what do they have?
They don't have shit. They don't have anything.
Exactly. And this is the reason why I tell brothers, wake up. Without racism, what do they have, brother?
They don't have anything, man.
Go save some money in your pockets.
Jesus Christ. Listen, speaking of anger, okay, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So, listen, Black Lives Matter is, dude, they trade on emotion. They stop traffic and every time. What are your thoughts? I mean, and Black Lives Matter was exposed as a fraud. Okay. Mm-hmm. But people still don't seem to, they don't seem to want to give credence to, to this, to the fact that this is a scam. Okay. When it started out, they meant well, but now it's being used by the left, by the political elites as a means to an end to do what they've been doing the last 50 or 60 years, which is to sway the black vote. What are your thoughts on Black Lives Matter?
Black Lives Matter is an evil group. It started off, quote unquote, to be good, and I believe that the folks who started it probably had good intentions, but right now it's not at all. When you're using blacks for destruction and you're using what I call the weapon of emotion. Yes. Okay. Black Americans in this country, because they were raised by their mama, they are easily put to anger very quickly. Yes. Okay. Because that logic isn't there. And the Democratic Party knows this. They know it because their policies entrained the public for this. So, I mean, it is something that is, to me, Donovan, it's very terrible of what a lot of these groups that are coming out are doing. There's another one called Democratic Socialists of America. They're using the same tactics of Black Lives Matter, which is they wait for a quote unquote a racial issue, right? A cop might have mishandled a blackie, right? A little blackie gets hurt. All of a sudden they run over there like this, and they got the slip and fall lawyers, right? The civil law lawyers nowadays, right? They come like Benjamin Crump. He come to their aid. And it's absolutely terrible. And what they're doing is they're diminishing the narrative of quote unquote their agenda.
Right.
I mean, they are.
Gentlemen, you are listening to TSR Primetime with special guest Jermain Botsio. His website, Facebook, and Twitter can all be found on the blog post for this episode on donovansharpe.com. It is episode 291. 914-205-5356 is the number to call to tell us what's on your mind. At this time, I'm going to say goodbye to my Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube crowd. If you guys want to watch the remainder of the show, come to donovansharpe.com. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter via Periscope, or Facebook, this is where the show ends. If you want to watch the remainder of the show, come to donovansharpe.com. And Jermain, as we seamlessly segue to, from Black Lives Matter, what are your thoughts on police brutality? Because listen,